that in darkness, light makes all the difference. Like in darkness, everything, like when one person has the light, you will follow them wherever they're going. And I'll just say that sometimes we know what it's like to be in darkness, but sometimes life gets dark. And again, everything's scarier in the dark. Sometimes depression creeps in. It was light in one season, and all of a sudden, it goes dark the very next day. Loneliness, anxiety, it begins to creep in, and in those seasons, we find ourselves in darkness, and Jesus says this, I am the light you're looking for. I am the light of the world. But he goes on to say, he who follows me shall not walk in darkness, but have the light of life. Jesus is letting us all know that no matter how dark a season that you find yourself in, that he is the light you're looking for. He is the light that can guide you through. But there's a catch. Jesus is the light, but he goes on to say, if you follow me. See, the catch is that we have to be followers of Christ. If we don't want to walk in darkness, then that means that we have to follow him. And I'll just say that in today's social media world, I think the term follow has taken on a different meaning. Like, oh yeah, I follow them on Instagram. This is the way I picture every social media person. Oh yeah, you follow them on TikTok? I follow them on TikTok. Oh, that's so funny. Like that's, yeah, I follow them. Like that's what we say. And what we're saying in that moment is, yeah, I scroll their feed, and I think a lot of people follow Jesus, but they scroll his feed. Like that. Oh, heart that. OMG, so good. OMG, retweet that. Oh, don't like that. Mute that. I'm not a fan of that. Ooh, gross. Like a lot of people live their lives, and some people have even muted Jesus. And they haven't heard Jesus talk in a long time. And what they're saying is, yeah, I follow Jesus, but I only follow the parts that I like about him. I only follow the parts that make sense to me. And honestly, like, I just want to live my truth. I just want to live how I feel like I want to live. And Jesus says, he who follows me shall not walk in darkness. 60% of Americans say that they are Christians. But what is a Christian? In fact, the first time that you see the word Christian is actually found in Acts 11:26 when they called them Christians. And what Christian means is little Christ. That's a whole nother message for a whole nother day. Little Christ. But what they were saying, the reason why they called them Christians was because they acted like Jesus. They followed the teachings of Jesus. They talk like Jesus. They did what Jesus did. So they got this label put on them as little Christ or Christians. You know, have you ever I've grown up all my life like, oh, you're just a little Terry. Terry's my dad. You're just a little Terry. And what they're saying is you act like your dad. You talk like your dad. You have the same mannerisms as your dad. And whatever we need to realize this, that whenever we put a label on ourselves as I am a Christian, what we're saying is I am attempting to be like Christ. I am attempting to follow Christ. I'm attempting to act like Christ. I'm attempting to talk like Christ. Like I'm attempting to be more Christ-like. They weren't called Christians because they bought all their home decor at Hobby Lobby. They weren't called Christians because they ate at Chick-fil-A 2 to 3 times a week. They weren't called Christians because they wore t-shirts that said, coffee and Jesus, keep this mama going. They weren't called Christians because they slapped a one church bumper sticker on the back of their car. They weren't called Christians even because they raised their hand at the end of a message and went out and lived their life however they felt like living it. They weren't called Christians because they went to church on Christmas and Easter or thereabouts. They were called Christians because they were followers of Christ. They acted like Christ. They behaved like Christ. They talked like Christ. And I think that we have to make a decision that are we going to become followers of Christ, or are we going to just say, you know what, I'm going to scroll his feed every now and then. And if he has something inspirational to say, then I may apply it to my life. But if I don't like it, then it's out. So who do you say that Jesus is? I love this term, in John 8, the word to follow. Follow me and you will not walk in darkness. This word literally means that someone who takes the lead in determining the direction of your life. To follow here means someone who takes the lead in determining the direction of your life. Let me ask you this question. Who is determining the direction of your life? Is it you? Ooh, is it social media? Come on, is it your friends? Who is determining the direction of your life?